Hi everybody, this is the lesson about angles. Okay, now before we get moving on, we need to do a couple things here so we know what an angle is. So, this is the first page of your angles book, and I'm going to be doing this with you right away, but we're going to be looking at the at-home help section so that we could define what an angle is and the different types. So the first thing is, angles are made up of two lines, and these two lines are called a ray. And this midpoint right here is called a vertex. So angles are used in geometry, and this is our start of next few weeks on geometry. So this is an angle. It has two rays met in the middle point called a vertex. So we've got a few different types of angles. So the first angle we're going to look at is called an acute angle. All right. Now, what angles we measure them to see how big they are. Okay. And this little part here is used just so you can see which way the angle is going. And we measure angles in what's called degrees, like our temperature. Okay, so whatever angle, whatever number we have, I'm going to just use a letter, and we put this little 0 up there. That is a degree symbol. So that's going to tell us what the measure is. Okay, so the first thing is an acute angle. Now, before you find out what are the parameters of an acute angle, I am going to tell you what a right angle is. And a right angle is like the corner of a square. It forms a nice little perfect angle called a 90-degree angle. So a right angle is 90 degrees. And it's usually represented by that symbol. So if it has a box in the corner instead of this half arc, it's a right angle. Okay? Now if you look at my acute angle, and imagine there's a line going up. This angle would form a 90-degree angle, and as you can see, it's less than 90 degrees. So an acute angle is defined as less than 90 degrees. All right? So we have an acute angle, it's less than 90 degrees. We have a right angle, which is 90 degrees. And we have another one called obtuse. And an obtuse angle is going to be greater than 90 degrees. Okay, so taking that imaginary right angle, we can see that an obtuse is greater than 90 degrees. So that definition is an angle greater than 90 degrees. Now these are the three main angles you'll be using mostly, but we have a couple other ones, and this one is really a very straightforward angle. And obviously you could see it's a straight line. So this angle, believe it or not, is called a straight angle, and it is 180 degrees. Now, the next lesson will be measuring angles so you know how to figure out all these degree symbols. But if I could go quickly back to obtuse. Obtuse is greater than 90 degrees, but it's less than 180. So it's not going to go past 180 degrees. Greater than 90, less than 180 degrees. Okay, so we've got the acute, the right, the obtuse, and straight. And the final one is called a reflex. Now this one is really interesting, and we don't use it that often. And this tells me that I'm measuring this entire angle. So a reflex angle is greater than 180 degrees, but a complete rotation around in an angle. So like a circle would be in total 360 degrees. So a reflex would be less than 360 degrees. But the most important part is acute, right, obtuse, and straight. Okay? Now, at-home help. Identifying angles. Right here has the definitions for you. What a right angle is, an acute, obtuse, straight, and reflex. So you have this sheet with your booklet that you could always refer to. And when you're looking at identifying angles, we're not measuring them, we're just deciding what type they are. We're always looking at this arc. Okay? Now, I'm looking at B right now, because as soon as you see that symbol, that tells me right away that this is a right angle. Okay? It is a universal mathematical symbol. Okay? Then I start looking at the ones I think I could pick up pretty easily. So that's a straight line, so that makes it a straight angle. And let's see, this one seems to be, and I could definitely turn my page a little bit so I could see it. That looks like a acute angle, meaning it's less than 90. This one seems to go beyond a straight line, so that's telling me it's a super large angle called the reflex. And this angle is obtuse. Okay, so we're down here, we're identifying angles again, and I look to see the symbols. And right here, if you remember this, that tells you, hey, right angle. This one is going beyond the straight line, reflex. And this looks less than 90, making it acute. And this one is obtuse. So looking back, you have to keep these pictures in your mind. And I know a lot of you guys play video games. You can keep track of multiple things, multiple keystrokes, multiple buttons to press if you're using a controller. You could remember a few of these things in math because these don't change and they'll help you a lot, especially when it comes to measuring, okay? So the last question here is identify each angle in the diagram. So I've got to find a right angle, sorry. Looking here, I find this square. So the right angle is the letter C. The acute angle, right there, that's less than 90. Obtuse is B, because that's greater than 90. And D is the reflex. Kind of cool, okay? Now, one thing before I end the video. Because on one of your assignments, you are going to have to name the angles. Now, what I just showed you were types of angles. And that's the acute, the right, the obtuse, straight, and reflex. But what we're going to do now is name the angles. And it's not giving a name like Pete, Joe, Xavier, Francis, Rufus. It is this. Let's construct a angle. And when I'm constructing an angle without specifics, I'm just drawing it, okay? Now, usually what will happen is we will have letters at each end point here. So this will be A, the vertex here will be B, and this will be C. So I'm gonna name this angle. And I use this little symbol here, which means angle. And then the letter B, because it's the vertex, that's going to be my middle letter. And I go A, B, C. So I've named this angle A, B, C. I could also name this angle C, B, A. C, B, A. B is my vertex. It's always in the middle. I could also use different letters. This could be X, this could be Y, and this could be Z. Okay, so my angle, using the angle symbol, is X, Y, Z, or Z, Y, X. That's naming angles. Remember, this is identifying angles, and this is naming angles. Okay? So, that's that for now. And we'll do the next lesson on measuring angles. Okay, thank you very much. Not a marathon, just 14 minutes.